Alright, gonna try and explain some stuff from Unit 10. So I'll start on this side and probably jump back and forth between the two. A modic is a great number of affixes, which are prefix to verb forms, to constitute constructions corresponding in meaning approximately to subordinate clauses in English. Subordinate clauses are kind of like which, that, who clauses. It's kind of hard to explain them without examples, but I'll just keep going with the textbook. So there's kind of two main ones, yeah and yemmi. I'm just going to skip this because they use it without really explaining it. You use a yeah and you attach it to, actually I think here it explains it, the yeah prefix, which is yeah before most consonants, just y by itself. So if you have like the word like mastamar, it'd be yastamar and then whatever, and then yeah elsewhere is prefix to the perfective forms of the verbs. And I have examples over here to help show that. And again, this will kind of explain like which, that, or who clauses. And then the same idea is for yemmi, which is yemmi before most words, and then it becomes before vowels, yemmi before yeah. Okay, yeah. So if there's like a word that begins with yeah, it'll be yemmi yeah, and then yemmi elsewhere. So basically, they use the short imperfective form, which I have in examples of here what the short imperfective forms look like, and they attach yemmi to it. So I think I'll jump over to this side. So these are examples of. Actually, I'll go here first. So what they don't say in the book just yet is explain that this system with transitive verbs has an exception, just to put in your mind early. So a transitive verb is one that uses a direct object, which shows who or what receives the action. So for example, you can give a gift to someone, and there the person would be the object receiving the action. Basically, it's like things you can do onto people to simplify it. And then there are intransitive verbs, which don't need an object to make sense. They have a meaning on their own. And so the example would be like arriving somewhere. So that's kind of what I did here. Yederis can only mean he who arrived. You can't really talk about like that which he arrived to, which kind of goes into the two interpretive meanings of these systems that I was trying to explain for the transitive. Like for legal, you can want something. So it could be I who wanted it, or you could be talking about that. This is kind of like a blank essentially. So I'll try to make this italics. That which I wanted. And then you could decide which one it is by the conjugated verbs at the end of the sentence and other surrounding words in the context of the situation. Because I have some complicated examples down below. So kind of to show like the transitive property. So mesodat means to work, also kind of like to make something. So if you say yes it out, you can be talking about I who made it, or that which I made. So maybe you're talking about a house. So you could be like, the house that I made is blah, blah, blah. And you'll get to that later. So again, you use the perfective form for these words. So yesera would be for I. Sera is for he. Yeserach for she. Yesera is for you male. Yeserach is for you female. Yeseran is for we. Yeserachu, y'all. Yeseru for they who made. Kind of pretty straightforward. For the imperfective section, that's where things get a little complicated. So I use the word megzat. So the short imperfective form for I and third person male are going to end up looking the same. So in the short imperfective form, you would think it's okay. Yemmi geza, that's fine. Why is it not yemmi yegeza? And that's because there's like this little rule here in 9.3 that talks about like the imperfective prefix ye is replaced by the vowel in the situation. So the same idea is actually happening with this ye. I guess actually in this case, the yemmi system. So you see the word yefelig actually becomes bifelig for he wants, and yeneguru, this y becomes a b, so it's beneguru. So same idea here. It's not yemmi yegeza, which I tried to show here. It's just yemmi geza. So this word and this word are highlighted to try and indicate that they're the same. The only way you can tell the difference between the two is by the surrounding words in the situation. So if you say yemmi gezawin, so this w and this in are actually explained down here in the chapter, but I'm just giving like a full sentence example. It would be, he lost the car he will buy. So yemmi gezawin, we know this is imperfected, talking about the future. We're talking about either something that I will buy or he will buy. Mekina, and then we know tefa. Tefa, it means he lost it. So we know we're talking about him. So it must be the car that he will buy. Yemmi gezawin mekina. Tefao is I lost the car I will buy. We know it's about me because it says tefao, otherwise it looks the same. Same issue is for she and you male, and this is kind of a common issue in Amharic. So yemit geza, because again you have the te geza here. For second person, oh, ignore that actually. Second person male, right? You have the T here, and then third person female, you have the T, and they look the same. So yemitgeza can be she who will buy, or yemitgeza will be you male who will buy. So if you say anta yemitgezawen, again indicating with anta who you're talking to, mekina ayu, I saw the car you will buy, or iswa yemitgezawen mekina ayu, I saw the car she will buy. And you can also make this, ayut if you wanted to, you could say I saw it, but you don't have to. Yemitgez, the you female essentially. This is the situation that complicates a lot of things, but I'll get more into that later. Yemin geza would be we who will buy, or that which we will buy. Yemit gezu is Yah who will buy, that which Yah will buy. And again, this is for they, which would have a Y normally for the short perfective, but because of this rule number 1 that's kind of coming into play, it's replaced by yemni, so it's yemmi gezu, not yemmi gezu, yemmi gezu, for they who will buy, that which they will buy. So I think it's probably a decent place to stop there for my notes. I'll jump back over to this side. So these are kind of the examples they said. So yemeta, we know is going to be perfective tense, so something in the past. Meta is he came, so he who came. Metach is she came. So we're talking about she who came. Yemi, we know we're talking about the future. Metu, so remember there's no Y here, and it's not te metu, otherwise it'd be y'all, it's just metu. So they who will come, they who are coming. Yemit esech. I'm surprised. Oh, mestet. Yeah, this is a problem situation that I think I'll rather explain later. So you are arguing. So here in the textbook, it actually begins to talk about the transitive properties of the verb. So again, like I was mentioning before, yefelegu can either be talking about I who wanted or that which she wanted. So maybe an example in English would be like, I am the one who wanted to buy the car, right? You would use yefelegu. Or if you wanted to say like, the car that I wanted to buy is gone. You'd still also use some kind of essentially version of yefelegu, but the conjugation may change slightly, or I guess the grammar around it may change slightly, and the context of words will also change around it. Similarly with yesarat, it can either be about he who will, she worked, I guess, with she who made, or that's what she made, and these are about future tense, so yemi sara. I'm trying not to look at the answers over here, I'm just trying to look here, so I think this is talking about he, I'm guessing, like he who makes it, that which he makes. Yemit tefellegu, so this must be y'all, right? So that which they wanted, you who want, or y'all, that was okay. Continuing on, these relative constructs can actually be used sort of as modifiers, or they they do mention modifiers, I think somewhere down here, but they can be used to kind of describe people, but they just have to match the noun in the gender number, which sounds complicated, but it's easier than you would think. So like, yemi, so we know about talking about the future. Meta, this I think is talking about a guy. So he who will come, a person who is coming. Same idea as like kind of like yemi sara, that which he makes, like he, like in parentheses. I guess now we have like an actual person being said. So yemetach set. So set matches with metach, the gender being female. Yemetach is like she who came, so a woman who came, right? We're talking about a woman who came. And then yemetu soyosh, so we're talking about like a they thing. So those people who came, the people who came, and it kind of goes on. I don't think I have anything to really add here. This is just kind of, again, the book examples. Continuing on, yeah, these are just kind of like, I think it's supposed to be my breakdowns over here in the toggles, but I'll just kind of skip it because I think they are hopefully making sense so far. If not, feel free to go to the Notion and read the description breakdowns. Next thing, right? Relative construction can be a modifier to a noun in a way. Yeah, so modifier, I guess, is the right word. The relative construction can make something definite. Well, I'll stay over here for this. So basically, to make something definite, you make it the. So instead of saying like a car, you say the car. And the way it's done around these relative constructions is by adding EU after consonants or a W after most of their vowels, unless the word ends with a U. Then it'll have a T suffix after it. And this U ending can come from saying y'all for something in conjugation, because those end with U, and then for saying they, especially in the perfective tense, which I think is an example here. Then you would add a T on to make it the. There's also like feminine definite suffixes, which I would say I wouldn't use, like personally. It just makes it too complicated. but you want to be able to recognize if someone says wa or yetwa or yetu, um, that they're kind of feminizing a situation. And they don't have to use these. You can just use the masculine definite suffixes. So I think the examples here would kind of help. So yehede, so we know we're talking about a guy. Yo, we add a W towards the end here, right? And it's just a W because it doesn't end, it doesn't end in a consonant, so you want to be EW, already ends in the E, so just add W. So yo. So you're talking about the guy who went, the man who went, right? So that's a big difference here. The versus like saying, the example here, a person, a, now it's the. Yemet ut soyoj. Again, this word ends with a U, so it's triggering this T exception rule here. Yemet tu is they who came. So again, the T will actually makes it the soyoj, so the men who came, right? Yemmi, so we're talking about the future. Meta, okay. W ending. Okay, so we know. So again, this ends with a vowel, but it's not U, so you just add a W onto the end of it, and then soyu. So this looks like he who will come, the man who was coming. Yeah, sorry, it just should be my interpretation. The man who was coming, and then yemet achiwa setio. So this is meant to be showing how to use the feminine suffixes, but you can also just like use, yeah. See, this is supposed to be like I guess the word ends with an I, so you just add a W onto the end of it. So yemet etcha setio. But yemet achiwa is the woman who came, right? Setio, the woman who came. I'll just kind of, do you want to do these examples? They're here and they'll follow similar thinking. So looking over to my notes, this is kind of like the example that they mentioned all the way back up there is using all these rules that we've been talking about of adding this definite suffix, of matching the number and gender to the thing it's describing, and then it's actually going to continue on to the direct object situation, which I kind of glanced at here. But okay, going back to my notes, EST, if using the sentence, this is me breaking down like how this one worked. But these would be the words that kind of brought up and breaking them down. This is an extra example that I thought about doing, but I actually have to check if it's correct, so I apologize. I should have been more thorough with making sure everything was good. And these are the textbook sections to reference. For this, if you're just looking at the notes, like, okay, this is where that information is coming from. We're getting to the big problem area, right? I think I actually want to move this down here. I think it'd be better fixed there. So now we're going into the section of the relative construct may have an object or person that is receiving the action. If the object is definite or specific, the suffix n is affixed to it. So I'm actually not super understanding of how the system works, but I just kind of try to imagine if it's basically describing something, then I'll put the n onto it. So the first example is actually poor, so I think I'm actually just going to skip it. Yeah, let's skip it. So yemmi te feligo. So okay, this is looking like you male that we're talking to, right? Because we go back up to the short imperfective. T ending third person, right? Yemmi te feligo in mekina. So I'm just assuming we're talking about like a guy, but I guess we technically could be talking about a girl in the abstract, like the car that she wanted. Yeah, I don't know why. Adding a W here to make it the, right? And then N, because we're talking about the thing that we're knowing about the car is that you male wanted it. Or I guess technically she male, I'm just gonna say you male wanted it, right? Ayut is I saw it. Ayo is I saw. T means I saw it or I saw him. You can also just say ayu like it mentions here. So I saw the car that you were looking for, right? Or you wanted. So then going in over to here, so this doesn't have an N ending. So this is not necessarily giving us more information about the book. Mesafun, mesaf is book. You add a U to it, becomes the. Add an N and you know it's the object of a sentence. So mesafun yefelegut and einen. And A and N is very interesting because this kind of helps clarify what we're talking about. It's about me. So I am the one who wanted the book. So the book, right, coming from here. The one who wanted, talking about myself, and A and N. And there's actually a funny example I have down below to help kind of show that. And that should be matching here as I go on with things. Oh, also to help kind of establish like some help with things, the verb suffix pronouns are here. Like you say, ein, I, ish, o, at, ein. These will become apparent a little bit later. Actually, probably the next thing I'm going to say. And the noun suffix pronouns are these. These are not used for verbs. So just to clarify, you don't use them. But I just put them here next to each other. Yeah, whether you use perfect or imperfect tenses here, you're going to use the verb suffix pronouns. Nouns are the ones that use the suffix pronoun. I put that in all caps because I obviously confused myself with it at some point. So next example, Ye gezashawin mesaf ayut. Okay, talking to a female directly because we know it's gezash. We know it's in the past because it begins with ye. So ye gezash. Here we have a w added to it, so we're making the something. N. So we're talking about something we're kind of referring to the object of the sentence. That will be the next thing. So ye gezashawin. So the book you female bought. I saw it. I saw the book that you female bought. Right. This is the big problem area. Yemmi teteriat tinsetiu ayuat. So, there's a little section here, which I guess I skipped over by accident, so I apologize. So, there can be verb suffix pronouns, which may or may not be affixed to the relative construction. So, the relative construction is the yan yemmi thing, and it may have a verb suffix pronoun added to it to kind of indicate that the action is being done, that the action being talked about is done to someone. So in this case, it's being done to a woman. But why is it like this? Why is it yemmi teter iya? Why does it have this y here? Why is it not just yemmi teratin? Why is it yemmi teteratin? Right? Is the logical way I think about it. Versus yemmi teteriatin. And to come back up here to the short imperfective, wherever I put it. Right. Second person female, t. Right, we have the T before metrat. This is because the root word is metrat, which is to call or to invite. In this case, it's being interpreted as to invite. So yemmi te, right? The T is here. Tera. Here tera. Right. That's the breakdown of the word. The I is here. The I is here. Right. We see that. Why is this Y here? So sorry, you might hear my pop coming down the stairs. So there's this rule here. Living room. Whoops, I don't want to do that. Sorry about all these technical difficulties. I don't know why I made it so big. Okay, right. So where's this Y coming from? So there's kind of two places that I saw this rule coming from. This is maybe the first one. So note that the I becomes EA before A for second person feminine singular, and the U for second and third person plural are regularly added to the stem before the pronoun suffix. So what this is saying is that if there's a word that begins with A coming after an I in the second person feminine, then it becomes EA. And the A and the words that begin with A that are going to make this adjustment are coming from at, where you say to her, and achu to them. So if you're talking to a woman, right, you female, and you're talking about something that she did to another woman, a second woman, you use at. And then if you're talking about something she did to a group of people, them, you use achu. You can't really use achuhu for y'all because when you're talking to a woman, you can't really say like y'all. It just doesn't really make sense. Anyway, anytime you have achu or at, automatically triggers the EA rule. And I think it's also mentioned here as like a glide thing in 3.4. So you have I plus A will equal IA, so tefel gialish. It's kind of maybe like another reason as to why it is happening in this way. But I'm pretty sure it's more so related to the fact of this little, now I already lost it. This little thing here. So yemmi teteriatin setio ayuat. So we know we're talking to a woman. Yeteteria, we're talking about you who invited. Oh, actually, the future yemmi, right? You who will invite the woman, right? The woman who you will invite. Actually, we're talking about the woman because I in here we're talking about an object. So the woman you will invite, ayuat. I saw her. Ayu is I saw her. Wat again is kind of indicating like I, saw her. Or you can just say ayu. I don't know why it's wat and not ayuat, which is kind of what I normally say. But yeah, I saw the lady you are going to invite. Um, but then another thing, while I'm here, I just wanted to add on like another issue is this. The eight, one of the eight ending consonants, right? Um, so if a word ends with like a T, it gets replaced by like a CH. If a word ends with D, it gets replaced with a G, with a J when it's conjugated for second person feminine imperfective. So like mehid, that D will become a J to like tehejjalish is what it would be. Mekfet is to open, right? Tekefet alish. Oh, tekef chalish, right? Because the T becomes a CH here in this case. Whereas for a guy to be tekef talle, for you male open. If that happens, the whole IEA rule is canceled out just automatically. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just going to be whatever it's transformed into. So the CH, the J, the S, and then if we're talking to a woman, it'd be like just at. So chat, jat, shat, zacht, or chachu, jachu, sachu, whatever it would be. And I think there's an example that comes up either in the book or down below. Actually, I'm hoping I have an example. Yeah, more examples of the EA situation. Yemmi te kefel iacho in soyoch ayuacho. Or you can just say ayu, right? So, future, yemmi. Te kefel, we're talking to you, male or female. Iacho is what it becomes because we're talking about her doing an action to a group of people, and because we're talking about the people themselves. So the people you female will pay. I saw the people you will pay. I skipped mestet because it's a little more easy. So setota yemi to set iat, right? Because short and perfective is going to be have the ti ending, right? So mestet would become tesete, kind of. But it'd be tesetiat, right? Because to her, in, we're talking about the woman. Setio is the woman, right? So the woman you will give a gift to, I saw the woman you will give a gift to, right? And I'm hoping it's somewhere here where I show the exceptions. Yes, this is where, okay. Mamtat, to bring. It ends with a T. Shittu, which I think is perfume. Yemmi, right? We're using the T because I think I put the short and perfective here, right? I don't know. This is short and perfective. This is just the exception rules. But right, T. Dama. It's not T anymore at the end. It's cha. We're using lot actually because it means it would be better. It would make more sense to say for her than at her, to like you bring something for her, not bring. Yeah, I think lot is, I don't know. This is what my dad told me to use. So lot, and then in because we're describing. It's really more about the woman that we're talking about in the situation here. So the woman you will bring perfume for. I saw the woman you will bring perfume for. Wow. CH, like mentioned here, the A doesn't happen. But actually, sometimes people will use the EA. I forgot to mention that. With some speakers, only the consonant preceding the EI is replaced. And I'm trying to find the section that says, like, oh my gosh, where did I put it? Where did I put it? Yeah, but some speakers only the consonant preceding the ia is replaced. Oh, right. So like tekef chi ia lish. The ia thing is right here. It's back. To hedgia lish, right? It makes a comeback instead of just being Tehejalish, it's Tehejalish. And just, some people speak like that. So you can use either or, but I think recognizing when they use it here, like yemmi to teriat tinsatio, I thought this was a different word. I didn't think it was metrat because I didn't know how you get this ia sound coming from basically out of nowhere. That's where it came from. So sorry, this is kind of jumping around a little disorganized. I don't want to go into too much detail on these because, I don't want to make this video too long. Let's go to the next section, basically. Okay. So if the object is indefinite, I think maybe here, indefinite. So we're not saying the something, but something like a book or a house, yada yada. The verb suffix pronoun is not commonly used. That's just kind of like a general rule. Maybe it can be used, but it doesn't happen. And you don't have to worry about adding. I'll scroll up in here and try and find it. The EU, TU, whatever suffix thing, because it's just going to be a something. So let's just go to the example, right? If the object is indefinite, the verb suffix is not commonly used. Andmesaf, so a book or one book. Yefellegu, okay, we're talking about ourselves here, it looks like, or that which we want. And ain. So, okay, so I'm the one who wants a book. I'm the one who wanted a book. On debate, so one house or a house. Yesarach, so she worked on, or that what she worked on. Okay, or starting that so we know we're talking about she's the one who did it. So she's the one who worked in the house. She's the one who built the house. Okay. Or not the house. She's the one who built a house, right? No does in this situation. But to be honest, like, as long as you get the point across, like, she's the one who built the house or a house, it's like, who cares? All right. Continuing. The relative construction may itself function as the object of some other verb. In such case, the relative construct is always definite. It's always a definite object, and the object suffix is affixed to it. The appropriate verb suffix may not be used on the principal verb. So the principal verb would be the ending verb here. So I don't really know exactly what this means. I think because you can just kind of abstractly talk about like things, then you use this situation to talk about them in the abstract, and then you can also kind of explain like what is happening around that abstracted thing. Perfective. Fellige. So this looks like, a he situation. Go in. So the thing that he wanted. Agin yo. So it looks like this is like him saying he found it or something. So he found that what he wanted. Yeah, he found what he wanted. Okay, is she? Is he yalloin? Oh my gosh. A fellig wallo. So I guess this is supposed to be alle, right? In the imperfective, you modify it, but alle is kind of an irregular verb, so it's funny to see they put it here. So izi yalawe, so that which can be found here, afelig wallo. See, the wallo here is put in the middle of it, the verb suffix pronoun, to help indicate like that it's it or him that you want. In this case, it being it. So I want the thing that is here. Then you can also make these negative. So in the negative relative construction, the negative affix m is omitted. So basically you use a regular negative version of the words for the perfective. You just add al in front of it. That's basically it. So I think maybe 7 here would be easiest. Yafelle gut mesaf. So the book that I didn't want, right? The book that I didn't want. And you just do yal. So it's actually very easy for perfective. You can just change all the yeah thinking and stuff. For if it's negative, you hear yal. Yal, 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 yal. And I think I actually tried to show that here, right? The negative perfectives all start with al, and then with m's, but you don't, the m is omitted here, right? Nice and easy. Negative imperfective, I'll put them over here. So some of them begin with al, some at, some I, some at. So here, yamal felligo. Okay, so I think this is supposed to be talking about something that I want, like I do not want the book I don't want. Yeah, and it's the book because of this W, isn't it? Yeah. So the book I don't want. But maybe if you're talking about like to a guy, right? It'd be yamat fellig mesaf. So the book you don't want would be in that case, I believe, but I can double check that. The book doesn't show too many more examples of it, so I'll leave it alone, but it's actually probably extremely important to know what these are, because this is probably very commonly said. And then if there are other relational prefixes, they will replace the y and ye and yemmi. So they don't really go to too much example here, and I think other chapters will kind of explain it more. But this is leteratso negerhut, right? So things supposed to be metrat, so something. I'm guessing it's more of an invite here thing. Leteraut. So this looks like yeah. So like an ut, right? So t. So the person I will call, right? I talked to the person I will call. I told it to the person I invited. Oh, not I will call. I invited, right? This has to be past tense. I don't really know what this le instead of yeah really changes about the situation, like the person who I invited. Yeah, I told it to the person who I invited. I don't know. Same thing with this yemmi. It becomes lemmi, future tense, tera. So okay, so it looks like this is talking about interesting. Enegerwallo. It has to be about myself because it's menaga, right? That's the word that's it's based off of. So this I think could either be talking about he, or I, because remember it's not yemmi tera, it'd be yemmi tera, right? So the person I will invite, I will talk to. I will tell it to the person I will invite, right? Okay. Yeah. So then I think here it tries to also show some flexibility in how relative clauses can be talked about. So if we want to say, I saw the big house, Tilikun beit ayut, Tilikut beit ya ayut enenen, it is I who saw the big house. It becomes ya ayut because I think I mentioned it all the way up here at the beginning. Y before A, right? And it's might for C, I believe is the word that they're using in this situation. So it doesn't become yeah, it becomes ya. So yayut over here. So this T making it definite. And I am the one who saw the big house. I'm the one who saw the big house. Yayut, same word here, same breakdown. Beit tilikno. So the house that I saw is big. The house that I saw is big. Okay. Yayut tilikun beitno. Interesting. So what I saw is the big house. I would not have been able to interpret that. I would have literally just said whatever I said here. But they're essentially saying the same things. Same idea for the imperfective. For a little bit of laziness and a little bit of like, I'm not 100% sure what's going on over here. I'm gonna leave it. Well, maybe I'll try it. Tilikun beit ayo allo. I will see the big house essentially. Tilikun beit Yamaayo enenen. So I'm the one who will see the big house. It is I who see the big house. Okay. Yamayo. So remember, it's not yemmi, it's yama for the same reason I kind of showed above. For why it's not yaayut or something, it's yaut. So yamaayu beit tilikno. So the house that I see is or will see is huge. Yamayo tilikun beit. No, what I see is the big house. Interesting. So yeah, that's kind of that. I put some pretty cool extra practice sentences here, so that I'll try to show you. Ruz yet inde alle ya asayush enenen. So basically, all this is saying is I'm the one who showed you female where the rice is, because I was talking to mom earlier and I showed her where the rice is in the fridge. So I was like, oh, how do I say that? This yet inde alle seems pretty important for saying like where it is. So ruz yet inde alle ya asayu, right? So it's not ya asayu because we're using the word masayet, which is to show. Ya asayu sh hush kind of is what it sounds like at the end for I'm the one who showed you. And then enen means like, oh, I'm talking about myself. I'm saying like I'm the one who showed you where the rice is. This was kind of a funnier sentence. Igor kwasen date much out yaster ku enen. Igor kwasen date much out is kind of like how to play soccer. Mastamar is to teach, right? So if we take off the M beginning and replace it with this Y prefix that we're talking about in the perfective for a relative construct, yasturku, and then he. So we're talking to a guy, an enen. So I'm the one who showed you how to play soccer. So we could say this to dad. And this is one is kind of like a more probably common thing I can try practicing saying. By Marinya yefelle gutmalet kebdonyal. By Marinya, again, kind of the abstract interpretation of this is yefelle gut. So either I who wanted or that which I wanted. Malet kebdonyal. So actually, this probably isn't the best way to say it because this is kind of like past tense. So, but the idea is supposed to say like that which I want to say. By Marinya is hard for me to say. Like it is hard for me to say what I want in Amharic. So actually, I think to make this future tense, it'd be something like live demo. Maybe I'll just take this out. But I also told myself, can also say yefelle gut by Marinya malet kebdonya. Ask mom if this or this really matters, and no, you can kind of get away with a lot. Kind of which is what this was showing over here. Like you can flip the word order and still basically say the same thing. We'll go to yemmi, right? Fellig. Fellig. Ooh, right? And actually, we'll add an N, right? Because we want to make it abstract, talking about what we want. Malet keb don yal. So I think this is actually wrong. I think this should have an IN here. I'll highlight this in red to show that it's wrong. But I think if we actually come back here, if you talk about things in the abstract, right? Yefelle gawin agenyo, like that which he wanted, he found that which he wanted. So because I'm talking about kind of the Amharic being the situation, so actually maybe this should come yemmi felle gowin, the thing that I want to say by Marinya, malet kebdonyal. Right, interesting. Interesting. So then let's say I wanted to, make this a verb suffix pronoun, and I want to make it plural. So we come here because I don't remember. Actually, let me try and think. For they, like ayuacho, I think so. I think I just add acho, right? That's all I have to do. Yeah, you add acho for them. So would I then yemmi fellig achuoin by Marinya malet kebdonyal? I have a feeling this is not correct. Like the things that I want to say by Marinya kebdonyal. Let me also do this. Achuo in by Marinya malet kebdonyal. I will ask and I will come back. Actually, let me just let me give one of them a big call, a quick call. Let me call Dad. Actually, hopefully he's free for a second. Hey, do you have time for a quick Marinya question?
Okay.
If I say yemmi felligachuoin by Marinya malet kebdonyal, does that mean the things that I want to say by Marinya are difficult?
Yes.
Okay. If I said yemmi felligoin by Marinya malet kebdonyal, that'd be more like the thing I want to say by Marinya is difficult.
Precisely.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Love you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Here we go. Get that answered. The things I want to say in Amharic are difficult. So pretty big step in terms of learning. So that is only just part of chapter 10. There's also 10.2, but I think this is a good recording for right now.